Let's talk about One Piece, the greatest story of all time created by Ichiro Oda. As a One Piece fan, I'm constantly trying to get my friends and family to watch it, mostly because I need someone to argue my theories with, and because Kuma is objectively one of the best characters in the series. So I thought, why not turn that into YouTube videos? Now listen, I started this channel as a cooking channel, but there are two things that I love the most. Food and One Piece. So I had this genius idea. I'm going to review One Piece arc by arc, and in each video, I'll cook a recipe inspired by Sanji's cookbook. So today, we're starting at the very beginning, Roman's Dawn, and I'm making the pirate's lunchbox. So let's cook and let's talk about One Piece. While I'm cooking, let's get into the story. Roman's Dawn opens with Monkey D. Luffy, our main character, my sunshine boy, as a kid in Windmill Village, constantly begging Shanks to let him join his pirate crew. Shanks is the pirate captain of the Red-Head Pirates, and he uses Windmill Village as their temporary base. Shanks, on the other hand, keeps refusing Luffy's request, not because he dislikes him, but because piracy isn't a child's game. Luffy is just too young. But from Luffy's perspective, pirates are fun. They sing, they dance, they party, they're free. They explore the world, they live however they want. And freedom is everything to Luffy. Then we get the iconic bar scene with the mountain bandits. They spill drinks on Shanks, they insult him, they brag about their bounty, they call him a coward, and Shanks does absolutely nothing. Luffy is furious. He cannot understand how someone he admires so much would just let that slide. But this is very important because Shanks teaches Luffy that not every fight is worth it. Pride isn't more important than protecting the people around you. And during all this chaos, Luffy accidentally eats a devil fruit, the gum gum fruit, and gains rubber powers. Anyone who eats a devil fruit loses the ability to swim. When I first saw this, I was like, Oda, what are you thinking? You could have chosen something cool like ice, fire, lightning for the MC, right? But this is where Oda shines because it takes a power that sounds ridiculous and turns it into one of the most creative abilities in the entire series. The way Luffy uses his powers makes you start questioning physics. So things escalate when the bandits kidnap Luffy and beat him up. That's when Shanks finally steps in with his crew, and then we get the iconic line.
お前らの前にいるのは海賊だぜ。
うるせえ！だいたいてめえらに用はねえぞ！
いいか山賊。俺は酒や食い物を頭からぶっかけられようが、唾を吐きかけられようが、大抵のことは笑って見過ごしてやる。だがな、どんな理由があろうと、俺は友達を傷つける奴は許さない。
シャンクス。
This is the moment Luffy finally understands why Shanks kept refusing him to let him join his crew. He's simply too weak to stand against real pirates or fight alongside Shanks and his men. Shanks' crew are incredibly strong, and Luffy begins to realize that when Shanks chose not to fight earlier, it wasn't out of fear. In that moment, it just wasn't worth it. Luffy also learns a harsh reality about the world, that there are people out there who don't value human life, not even the lives of children. Then back when Shanks' first mate completely wipes the floor with the bandits, but the bandits' boss was able to escape with Luffy and throws him into the ocean. Shanks saves Luffy but loses his arm to the Sea King. But before leaving the village, Luffy declares to Shanks that he will gather a crew even stronger than his and he will become the king of the pirates. Shanks then gives Luffy his straw hat and tells him to return it once he becomes a great pirate. That moment sets the entire story in motion. Shanks becomes the blueprint of the kind of pirates Luffy wants to be. Not identical, but deeply inspired by him. His love for his crew, the music, the partying, the loyalty, those are the traits ingrained in Luffy today. Even when Luffy sets sail, one of the things he says he wants on his crew is a musician. And to this day, the Straw Hats still throw a party after every victory. See, that's Shanks' influence right there. Fast forward 10 years later, and Luffy finally sets sail. And honestly, it hasn't changed at all. There's literally a moment where his tiny boat gets caught in a whirlpool, and he just goes, oh well, can't be helped, down I go. The level of confidence is amazing. He meets Kobe, a timid boy being forced to work for a pirate captain, Alvida. Alvida constantly asks her crew who the fairest is, which pretty much screams insecurity to me. She's basically fishing for validation every 5 minutes. And Kobe was kidnapped while fishing and became a cabin boy. But his dream is to join the Navy, to help people from pirates. But he's just too scared to leave Captain Alvida. And here's what I love about Luffy. It doesn't give Kobe some big inspirational speech. It just confidently states his own dream, which is to become the king of the pirates and find the One Piece. Even if people think it's impossible, even if it fails, it'd rather die trying. And just by chasing his dream boldly, it gives Kobe the courage to chase his. That theme right there, trying anyway, even if you might fail, is what One Piece is all about. And honestly, this story gave me the courage to start chasing my own dreams too, one step at a time. Even this chaotic anime cooking channel. So if Luffy can chase the One Piece, you can also hit that subscribe button. So finally, Luffy defeats Alvida and Kobe takes his first step towards freedom. So the next stop is the naval base, where Roronoa Zoro is being held. Luffy heard about Zoro while fighting Alvida, and he wants to check him out to see if he wants him on the crew. Everyone in town fears Zoro, and even Captain Morgan. Captain Morgan rules through fear, and his son Helmeppo abuses that power. And we can see that here because Zoro was captured by Helmeppo while he was protecting a little girl from Helmeppo's dogs, and made a deal with him to survive being tied up without food or water for a whole month and will be free. Of course, Hermepo never planned to keep that promise, and when Luffy found out about it, he was really pissed and he attacked Helmepo. And now Luffy is very determined to let Zoro join his crew. So Luffy does what Luffy does best, ignores logic and asks a pirate hunter to join his pirate crew. Even though Kobe thinks that's a ridiculous idea, he still wants to do it because he wants to save Zoro. Somehow, it works. Zoro agrees, even though it really wasn't a question, but on one condition. He won't let anyone stand in the way of his dreams, including Luffy. His dream is to become the greatest swordsman in the world. And Luffy, he wouldn't have it any other way. Another man with a crazy dream is just perfect for Luffy. Their fight at the base shows their chemistry immediately. No overthinking, no planning, just instinctive trust. Zoro and Luffy fight like they've been best friends for a very long time. On the Navy side, Kobe is conflicted. He's always believed the Marines were purely good people, but Captain Morgan's corruption shows him the reality isn't that simple. After Morgan's defeat, the town celebrates, the Marines are relieved. Kobe realizes something very important. Just because one captain is corrupt in the Navy doesn't mean the entire Navy is. There will always be bad apples, but that won't stop his dream, and it shouldn't stop yours too. After defeating Captain Morgan, the Navy soldiers thank Luffy and Zoro for saving them, and they also let them leave the town without arresting them. Before leaving, Luffy punches Kobe on purpose so the Marines won't associate him with pirates. It's painful, but it's necessary because being associated with pirates could ruin Kobe's future in the Navy. With that, Kobe officially begins his journey in the Navy, and Luffy and Zoro set sail. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time. Bye.